That was the honeybee. There are many others out there, folks, that are doing the same thing. How many in here today are involved in either the rescue operation or involved in the actual arrest of pedophiles? Please stand. Everybody that's involved in this whole operation. Raja? Yes. Okay. Let's see. All right. I want you to applaud these people because these are the first activists. We must make sure that anytime we see this happening in our communities, that we do in fact make the police our first line of defense. Now, how many in here have been subject to the child trafficking? How many have been trafficked? Anybody in here? Nobody in here been trafficked? That's good. And we want to keep it that way. But it's only going to be that way if we take this bull by the horns and take responsibility. Our police, our first responders, of course they're going to do their job. Think how we can amplify their effectiveness by being aware, by looking around and knowing what we see. I don't know how many have you seen these young people walk into your neighborhoods and they're selling magazines and things along those lines, just door-to-door salesmen, but they appear to be very young? There's something wrong with that program. I don't know if they're going to be able to speak to that or not. But I'd like for you guys to come back up here because questions are going to be asked. And one of the last things has to do with the issue of foster care. You know, we trust our agencies to do the right thing. We do. Has anybody been subject to the issues of foster care or child protective services? Anybody? I know you have. Randall? Randall Moss is from a different county. Randall Moss had his granddaughter taken from him at birth. That baby was targeted by Child Protective Services. Not because he's a lowlife, not because he is an abusive person. He's a former military man who just lives his life, raised his kids, and yet they took his granddaughter. And they have had your daughter for how long now?
My grandchild, I had her, well, 2 days from now is her 7th birthday.
This man has been put through the ringer, and this is happening all over the place, all over the country. And I just want you to know that it's up to us. It's not up to these guys to do everything. We have to get involved. And if we do get involved, we can make that difference. And they say we don't have a lot of trafficking here. We probably don't. And they're probably the reason why. And you're probably the reason why. Let's keep it that way. Now, does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask our guest here today? Anybody at all?
Carl, Georgia loses over 200 children. They're dead. Georgia loses over 200 children a year to death through defects, foster care. They either die or go missing. And that's documented. That's in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. That's their numbers, not ours. If I told you the hell I went through with a granddaughter, you would not even believe it. In Henry County, the court system puts it off and puts it off and puts it off with no solution. If we don't stand up it's gonna get a whole lot worse. And you leave here tonight, I'm gonna tell you about an elected official in this county. And I want you to check it out, but it goes all the way to California. I may not know about it, but it's here, and I'm gonna give you evidence of it tonight.
Sir, anything that you bring forward to me
Thank you.
will be investigated, and that's our job. It doesn't matter who it is, we will investigate.
If I could just take 2 seconds and respond just a little bit to what you just said on the defects issue. First of all, that was a very alarming video. I've worked with defects for 23 years, and I'm sure that there are bad defects workers somewhere, but I don't want you to think for a second that all defects workers, all foster parents allow children to be kidnapped and trafficked. That is not true. Are there cases where children in care are, quote, what, missing, is what they're saying? I'll tell you my experience is when they go from home to home to home, the foster parent or caretaker reports to the social worker, not to the police. Once they age out, which means 17, 18, they don't look for them anymore. They're gone. They close the case. That may be skewing those numbers, and I'll tell you, I've never heard anything like that. Never. I've seen the reports, quote, missing in care. But if you have firsthand knowledge like us, even though it seems crazy, I can see how that could really happen because you go from home to home to home. The caretakers are reporting to defect social workers, not to the police. So remember when I said missing kids, you have to clear them off GCIC? If we don't ever get told, you can't remove one. So I don't want those numbers to freak everybody out and say, you know, defects is kidnapping your kids and, you know, trafficking all your kids. That is not happening. Somewhere, yes, that could happen. Yes, they could end up in the wrong hands. That is possible. But I don't want you to think defects is out trafficking your kids. So I just want to make sure that we cleared all that up because that was very alarming. That was very alarming.
I have a question.
Sure.
Mark Twain said, the two most important dates of your life is the day you were born and the day you find out why. So tonight's presentation definitely made me understand I have another purpose. And I think everybody in the room understands that our children and our young people must be protected. But this is a mouthful. You all gave us a lot of information, and it's overwhelming. So in order for me to understand my purpose or anyone else to understand their purpose, the first thing I would like to know is, where do we start? I mean, you know, you talked about, there are 3 areas that I understand. There's child sex trafficking, human trafficking, what else?
Sexual exploitation of children, and crimes against children.
Yeah, and crimes against children, okay?
Yes, sir.
So all this is, I mean, you can only bite the elephant one bite at a time. You can't eat them all at the same time. So the thing, you've given up a lot of information. It's an elephant, okay? So the question is, where does one start to be able to be effective? I think they would be helpful. Like I was looking online to some of your website, and your website. You know, I was really concerned that there's no videos that basically explain what's going on. So my question is, where do we start? What would be a good place to start to understand which area and who should come first? Sex trafficking for children, human trafficking, or what? Am I making sense?
You're making perfect sense, sir. One, we're going to give you some information from the Blue Campaign to start that off. You've taken the first step. You're here. You now have questions. That's what we're available for. You can contact me through the Henry County Police Department. I will do my best to try and answer all your questions. And you're right, there's an elephant. But how do you pick one? You just don't. You work everything that comes at you as it comes at you. And you try and be proactive when you can, where you can. There's resources. There's resources everybody lacks. We gain resources because we have the public here today. But there's always more resources that we can get from y'all so we can do more. So like I said, anytime, any place, feel free to contact me and I'll do everything I can. I don't have any of my cards on me, I'm actually out. But
His name is Rotella. Sir, if I could just add to that, you need to have an awareness event at your church. You need to have people talking about it there. need to get everybody in your church trained on child protection. Miss Griffin in the back is one of the experts that teach people who deal with children one-on-one, like your coaches, your teachers, your counselors, the right way and the wrong way to deal with your kids. Start there. Do awareness stuff. Do the rescue bags. Find out places like Wellsprings and Gigi's house. What do you need? You could provide lunch to one of our sex trafficking rescue homes once a month. That's how you can make a difference. You can't be out beating the streets like we do, but you can make a difference in your church, your groups, your family. Make it a family thing. Go find out where your closest rescue home is and do something. Get them some arts and crafts stuff. Help them with school supply stuff. All of those things make a tremendous difference. So when we say no one can do everything, but everyone can do something, I mean that. Exactly what you're saying. You could do something, you could do something. I don't know what that is yet, but everybody can do something better than what we're doing today.
I guess my question, I have a contribution set about it. And
We'll be right there.
You know,
All you gotta do is call us.
the first thing that my pastor's gonna ask is, where do we start? Because you've got a lot of information, and you can't just, it's great to have a concern, but you gotta be organized in order to be effective, in order to get information to you. So that's what I'm trying to understand, is where do we start and who we start?
I'm gonna give you a phone number right now. And everybody take this down. 770-288-8269. That is my office number. I am Sergeant Rotella, and you spell that R-O-T-E-L-L-A, like the oil of the macaroni. I'm just not related to the money. If you have questions, whether it's what can you do, or I saw something I'm not sure, that's what I'm here to do. And with Joanne Sutherland here, we can get together with your church and do a presentation. But like she said, everybody can do something. And if it starts with us coming to your church for a presentation, 10 presentations, whatever it is needed to get the word out, we're here to do.
We just did one in Locust Grove, and what they did is they did an awareness event, and for that awareness event, people brought rescue bags with them. So we left out with almost 200 made rescue bags, just from the church, because we went to go speak to them. So if you do your awareness thing, everybody wants to do their part, right? Everybody's sitting in those seats. Your church has seats. Everybody sitting in those seats want to do something. Do that. Then you let us know. If we call people like Wellsprings, Gigi's house, and Georgia Baptist and say, hey, come get them. So they come and they get those bags, and then they can give them to victims. We call police departments. So they have them when they rescue victims. So it could be anything. It could be so creative. You might think of something we've not even thought of yet. But anything is better than what you're doing right now. Right? It's better than today. So now, tomorrow, just think about something different, something better than what you're doing now. And we're on a start.
I'm sorry.
770-288-8269. And you spell that R-O-T-E-L-L-A. Hang on.
Well, good evening. I first of all just want to say thank you to you all for making this happen. I tell you, I agree there's been a lot of information presented today. And there's three things that I walked away with. And I've heard it several times, and it's been prevention, awareness, and community. So you all have definitely helped us with our awareness. And I kept thinking about, as the presentation was going about, it takes a village. So thank you for you all who are in law enforcement for what you're doing. And I'm kind of like everybody else. I'm ready to take myself to the next level as a citizen. And so the question is, I've got the numbers of what, who to call if I sense something. But what I kept asking myself is, what do I need to be prepared to report? And I know the Blue Campaign card, Joanne, I think it's been wonderful. I don't know see it out there, but I carry it with me all the time. But I think we all need to share that. But I just think that we need to know, if I call that number, what should I be prepared to report? And then if there is that child walking on the street and I sense something, of course we know to call 911, because we are not the experts in law enforcement. But I also want to know if there is something that I can say to that individual or not say to that individual, I want some clarification on that. Because again, if I'm in our community and I have an opportunity, I make the call, but what should I be prepared to report? And if there's something, or especially a single individual, a child that's doing something, selling something, what should I say to that person, if anything at all? So I just wanted that level of clarification.
Well, you and I have spoke pretty extensively on see something, say something. That's the mantra. And the blue campaign card that I gave you gives you an idea of stuff. There will be a point of hypervigilance. If a girl comes to your door with a green sash on selling cookies, she's with the Girl Scouts. Can you agree? But you see a child in a neighborhood during school hours when they should be in school, calling 911 saying, I see this child that I'm just not sure about. That's where we come in and we'll pick it up from there. And it's little things like that. If it doesn't look right, make a phone call. I would rather be the person that allays your fears and say, no, this is legitimate, versus you doing what some people do. I don't have time. We all have time. We can make that time.
We absolutely work together, and people can talk about law enforcement. Right now, we've got a bad rap, but I can tell you that there's nothing more important than protecting kids. And it doesn't matter Henry County, Clayton County, the Sheriff's Office, Police Department. It doesn't matter. If we need help, we call anybody. They call the next person, the next person, the next person. So don't think that there's going to be jurisdiction issues, because there never is. But one thing I want to focus on, doing crimes against children for so long, I can promise you, you have that sixth sense. If it feels wrong, it is. It is. And you have technology, you have that cell phone, use it. You don't have to be the investigator. We're not asking you to be the investigator. Be the reporter, okay? Let them do, I'm going to say us, let them do their job and investigate it. But if you don't have the courage to report it, you're not doing a victim any good. That might be the only time that victim has a chance of being rescued. And I say that for the last 15 years. You might be that only person that felt that. You know what that is? If it is there, there's something wrong. It's their job now to figure out what that is, not yours. Don't judge yourself and say, well, what if it's not? If it's not, then ooh, good for us, we close the report. If it is, you may have just saved a kid.
I want to take this time, and before we go any further, I want to thank Chair Woods, Sherry, great job, Melissa, the county working with us to make this happen. All of you deserve a round of applause, because these things don't happen without you doing your job. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, really, it's been so informative, but also so scary. I think, and I guess on my end, I've worked previously 5.5 years as the criminal warrant officer for Fulton County, and we write tens of thousands of warrants and stuff that none of us want to see in our own home. I'm curious to know how cooperative have been the mobile carriers with providing information to you, because I know as investigators, you probably have to maybe subpoena them in case there's an active investigation to get proof of a lot of that illegal content there. But has there been any effort from the mobile carrier to maybe provide you with, maybe tip you with information of, because when kids get on these apps and that material is floating around there, as we know, like Snapchat, it can be immediately just evaporate. And I think the other thing that I was actually curious about, because I know Maya talking about just how international that this effort is. I'm wondering, have you found that organizations have been cooperative with getting youth who themselves, through their actions, may coerce young ladies, to kind of help stop the level of environment where even kids may unknowingly be creating an environment of sexual promiscuity or lascivious behavior, so that maybe young boys who are not themselves pimps won't make the environment itself one where pimps can get online and feel comfortable.
That's a large question. And I want to give you the right information. And I want to be able to say that every carrier is 100% behind us and everybody does everything right. I can't. What I can say is our job is we take all the legal steps to get the information. And we really don't get a lot of pushback because we're doing it lawfully. We're doing it through the subpoena in the court system. You've been on the job, so you understand that. As far as what you talk about, how do we prevent the environments? How do we prevent? This is part of it. We're trying to bring awareness to it. We're trying to get the parents more aware. We're trying to get everybody aware. I mean, that's the best answer. I can't give you the snap my fingers, that's how we're going to fix the problem. So it's a very broad stroke of pen. But awareness is what we're working at.
I do. And in reference to the internet service providers as well, the problem is something like Kik. Kik is not in this country. They don't have to comply with our subpoena. So if you think about it, all the apps that all these kids are using, that doesn't help us. So that is really, really a big obstacle. Second, you said, is there anyone tipping us off? So in your presentation, you heard about the National Center. What you didn't hear about is CVIP, which she explained the National Center is the clearinghouse. CVIP is child porn. So it's Child Victim Identification Program. So what they do is they partnered with like Yahoo and AOL and Google. So when all those people are uploading and sharing child porn, it's like beep, 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 alerts. It goes straight to the National Center. That information goes straight to the FBI. The FBI filters it down to GBI and the local agency. So in essence, yes, because we get the leads. All of the providers, no way. There's no way. And with the creation of all these apps that everyone's using to be undercover, to be incognito, we'll never keep up. We'll never keep up. We just do the best that we can, but there's no way for us to do that with some of the websites or the apps because they're out of the country.
So I was just going to add something on the reference. I think you were talking about recruitment, other kids recruiting and other young adults into human trafficking. We have seen cases of that where a young female or a male will recruit others because that's what the trafficker has told them to do in order to kind of ease up on their quota and what they have to do. I mean, it's just an opinion, but making sure that we have the appropriate services so that those kids can come to a realization that, hey, I'm a victim too, and I need to get out of here, out of this setting. There is life for me, after this situation. I will be, accepted back into society. Right now, there's just not enough beds in the state of Georgia, in the United States, for these kids, and sometimes they're having to pair them up with people who are vulnerable, people who are not ready to accept help. If we could have more specialized housing and more intense counseling, I think we'd be able to do more prevention and stop others from being recruited. That's my opinion.
I think he has a question.
I enjoyed being here tonight. Don't answer for all the police. I beg you to do that. Don't answer for all the police. I've reported this situation to the Sheriff's Department of Pike County, Georgia. Two detectives told me already that the former Attorney General, Sam Owens, obstructed justice. The sheriff closes his door when I walk into the sheriff's building, whenever I walk into the sheriff's building. Commissioner Clyde Reese was head of DFACS of Georgia in 2011. He informed John Yates and state law writer Wendell Willard that department had no reason, no right to take this child. When they were asked if he was going to return it, he said he was advised not to. This advice came from the Attorney General again, Sam Owens, who is now being promoted to the Kennesaw College. I'm keeping tabs on everything. And he's also now left the Kennesaw College and is working for the world's law firm there is. And
Question?
yeah, my question is, Officer Vitella, I spoke to you earlier outside. My information goes straight into the Capitol. My evidence goes straight into the court. I've got evidence that'll stomp this stuff out. I would like to contact you if I can get your correspondence to help me, because I'm still in this fight. They've adopted this child outside of the county that she was born in, which is Pike County that has proper jurisdiction. They won't follow the law in the court. Carl's been to court with me once on the occasion, on 3 or 4 times I've tried to put it there, and the judge dismisses the case, won't take judicial notice to the evidence that the baby had a head injury while in fraudulent care. Yeah, I'm sorry, it aggravates me to hear that all officers, I respect you all, I really do. But the officers in my county, I offer to train hand-to-hand in. I got 18 years self-defense background training in it. Officer Al Stevens, his wife used to work for, it probably still does, the Henry County Sheriff's Department. He asked Virgil Brown, another lawyer out of Concord, close to Pike, well in Pike County. I've trained his family hand-to-hand personally. I need to get some help. Calling the feds and the FBI doesn't do any good. They say, well, can you prove sexual misconduct or anything like that? No, I cannot prove that. So, okay, you can't say it's trafficking, is what I'm told. I call the field office to the FBI. I call the DOJ. No, DFACS didn't do nothing wrong.
Sir, if I can, where I would love to help you, because your story does break my heart. You just said FBI, DOJ, you're talking people that are way above what I can do. I'm a Henry County Detective Sergeant. And as much as I want to help you, that's something, it's just that's out of my reach. I would love to, I really would, but besides, it's just out of my reach. I don't have an answer. I'm going by what you're saying. I'm sure you have boxes full of stuff to show, but besides the fact that it's way above my reach, I couldn't take that time to help you in Pike County where I have no standing when I got to protect Henry County here.
That's true, officer. And I understand that. He understands that. The only thing that could come from making you aware of that is the off chance that you may have somebody down in Pike County that you could get him in contact with that could help him. That's about as far as it goes. I mean, obviously...
Let me see what I can do, and I'll do the best I can.
That's all we can ask. Thank you.
As y'all know, I came in real late, but I make a point to be here. I drove over 2 hours to be here. His story sounds so much like mine. I'm from a rural county. I'm a disabled nurse and an EMT, and I have reported abuse and stuff. And, you know, my heart breaks to the children because I have seen failure in the system. This is what I'm dealing with right now. My son's girlfriend had a child, no prenatal care. I knew what was going on. Everybody tried to keep it a secret from me. And when DFACS got involved, they didn't tell me everything that was going on. And this is what scares me is, and I've seen this with my own eyes. Where I'm from, DFACS gives the grandparents custody, the grandparents let the children have the children. They protect their child and their grandchild. They will cover, keep them away from DFACS. My son's girlfriend just had a baby. When I ended up getting a call from DFACS, I agreed to meet with DFACS. But I wasn't going to lie for my son or nobody. So what's happened in the process, of being in a rural county, everything's got turned on me. I've had TPAs took out on me. I had just had a Superior Court judge tell me last week that if he heard one thing about me, that he would send me to prison. I'm like him. I've been fighting corruption for 4 years by myself in my rural county. I have been to the FBI. I know what he's talking about with all these officers in Georgia. I'm like him. I have boxes of evidence from Governor Deal on down. You know, somehow the people in Georgia have got to come together to do something with our elected officials under the dome. Because I have not found one person willing to help me. And being in my rural county, I'm going to be honest with y'all, I'm sure that before it's over, I will be in a prison because there's so many there that knows that I know that grandmothers are covering for the children, you know. And I've heard parents threaten their children. If you tell so-and-so, they're going to take you away from you. And that's what's going on in rural counties.
Well, first of all, let me say thank you for sharing your story with us. I know it's very personal, and your 2-hour drive, thank you. What I don't want to do is get distracted on why we're here. We are here for human trafficking and the proactive steps that Henry County is taking. What I don't want to do is get into personal stories, because what you need is you need legal assistance, you need advocacy. We can't help you with that part. We can help you and direct you in the right place, but we're here about human trafficking, not corruption. And we're not here to talk bad about police officers. That's what we do. You know, are there bad apples? Yeah, there's bad school teachers too. Ain't here for that either. So that's not what we're going to be talking about. If you need legal help or victim services, we can direct you there, but I don't want to get in a debate about corruption or bad police or bad defects. That's not why we're here. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Right, but we're here as law enforcement first responders. We have no legal jurisdiction to supersede DFACS. The people who deprive children is the judge. So that is the step. That's not the police. So if we have any issues like that, that goes to the judge. So we can't really speak to that point. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There are some great ones. Yes. Yes.
First, I'd like to thank y'all for coming here and having this town hall meeting tonight. I think this is very important. And, you know, watching this video, I was a little bit shocked at some of those websites and stuff. And I've got 5 grandyoungins that get on the computer and stay on it all the time. And I don't know half the time what they're looking at. But my question is the school system, the state of Georgia school, did they present any type of program for young kids on the sex trafficking and that sort of thing?
I know that in Clayton, I can speak directly for us, we actually have got with the new superintendent, and we have got all of our posters in Clayton County Public Schools. I know that we go in and do presentations to like the cheerleading group, the dance group, across the board, auditorium style, no. I think Ms. Griffin has been in Henry County schools, so, and she can speak to the Henry County part, I can't speak to that part. But Clayton, we don't go in and just do mass education to everybody. This is a bad topic. You should see your faces right now. Imagine what happens when we talk to the kids. So people get a little squirmy when you start talking about sexual abuse, sex trafficking, and children. They're like, ooh, not my kids. So it's kind of touchy. So I'm going to pass the mic to Ms. Griffin.
Although I do not work for Henry County School, I partner with Henry County Schools. I can answer that question a little bit. We do it on a lot of different levels. Child sexual abuse, we have a program called Darkness to Light. I am one of the facilitators, and then the school system has 5 facilitators. And we train all the educators, all employees, how to recognize the signs of child sexual abuse, how to be a mandatory reporter, so how do you report. We also talk about just generalization of how to minimize opportunity in a classroom, how to minimize opportunity in a field trip, on all the different details. They also have a program called Speak Up and Be Safe, and that's where the educators are teaching children in elementary, I believe it's kindergarten, 3rd grade, and so on, where they're teaching children how to speak up if there's something that's happening to them. There's Jessica Stormer is a individual that works with the school system, and I partner with her. So yes, our school system has several different programs to educate their staff as well as children. And we're always looking at different programs to introduce. One of our lead counselors in the Henry County School and myself, we went through a training called Love 146, and that program works with at-risk children to teach them how to find the value, because a lot of your trafficked children don't feel like they have a value, because they have been groomed by the traffickers to think that they do not have a value. So Love 146, and it's not just something that will be in Henry County Schools, we'll be using it, Angela Craig and I will be using it for our at-risk children. I'll be partnering with Connecting Henry to work with children in the SWAG program. So this is something that's going to be upcoming. But again, Love 146 also works with teenagers, well, 12 to age 18, to help them make sure that they don't end up in the traffickers' hands. But that's with the school system as well.
I just want to give another quick answer to that. I work with Out of Darkness, and we have been trying to get into some of the schools as well with Street Grace and trying to partner with them as far as awareness to teenagers. And so what we've learned so far is that the administration has to be on board with us coming and ask us to come. And so far, Flowery Branch High School has been the only one that has done a school-wide awareness program. So Paul Palmer and Jeff Shaw, which are directors of the Atlanta Dream Center and Out of Darkness, they were able to go down and present to the entire school in different periods that would come into the auditorium, and they just did an awareness for the teenagers to know, look for this if you start to get this kind of traffic on your app. You know, if you start getting comments from strangers on your pictures, stuff like that, just to be aware of. They may seem friendly at first, but kind of just an awareness. If somebody approaches you at the Mall of Georgia and, you know, starts trying to want to sign you up for modeling, well, come to my car and get some information on that. Don't go. So all of these things just to kind of raise awareness for that. I found it a lot easier. I've been to a lot of Christian schools to talk, but the public schools, it is hard without the administration buy-in, that if they can invite other organizations like Wellspring, Out of Darkness, Street Grace, Tapestry, if they can invite us in, then we'd love to come and talk and bring awareness.
Clayton County has trained all of the school officials in Out of Darkness.
Can you hear me now? Okay. I'm Norrie Cochran with the Henry Neighbor, and I have some reportery type questions that may be of general interest, so bear with me. Mr. Swenson, what group do you represent?
Thank you for asking that. I would like the microphone. One of the things I forgot to say, I am part of the Henry County Ethics in Government Oversight Team. We have one other member here tonight. That's Larry Moore. Larry, would you stand up? He was integral in helping get this thing done.
And why did you organize this?
Let me get the other mic. I organized this because I was compelled to do something rather than nothing. There are a lot of news articles, both printed and on the air and on the internet, concerning the issue of child and sex trafficking and pedophilia. These are very, very serious issues that need to be brought to the public's attention because the media is not doing it, at least not doing their job. So it's up to us. And it's going to be up to us to make the difference in our communities, in school, where you work, at the police department, at the sheriff's department, at the board of commissioners. I'm seeing a lot of good signs, I am, but we do need more help from the people. Our police needs more help from the people. That's what this is all about, and that's the reason why this is put forward, is to get more people involved in helping the police to eradicate and break the chain of this trafficking issue.
So why did you organize it now? Why is it tonight?
That's $1 million question, for which I don't have an answer. It just happened to work out that way. I thought as soon as possible. And just so all of you know, this is going to be made a video. I hope that the county, if they so choose, will carry it. It's going to be on YouTube, and it's going to be carried by the likes of the Honeybee, Melissa Zechariah, and it'll be on my channel as well, which is Carl Alfred. And if you get tired of watching this serious stuff, you might want to take a look at some of my squirrel videos. But this is so serious that we need to make it available for people to see the answers are right in front of our faces. You are the answers. I am the answer. They are the enforcers. We give them something to enforce by giving them the leads they need in order to do their job. We are the ones that are lax. We are the ones that are not doing our part. And that's why I wanted to get it done as soon as possible, because I personally feel guilty for not grabbing this particular issue earlier and doing something with it. Thank you.
And if you could allow me to show my ignorance here and say, what is human trafficking? How is it different from sex trafficking? Just a quick answer. Is human trafficking all domestic and sexual trafficking, and then we break child sex trafficking out of that?
So, I mean, human trafficking encompasses all forms. Sex trafficking, labor trafficking, DMST, domestic minor sex trafficking, CSEC, commercial sexual exploitation of children. It's just different terms. So if you think
Both
of it,
sex trafficking and labor trafficking.
so human trafficking is just an umbrella under which all of these other types lie.
And what I think I heard was that Henry County has no human trafficking cases.
Yes.
So none that have been reported, or just none that are open now?
We've had no reports. There are no open cases. We have not had anybody in Henry County has not been reported as a victim of human trafficking under that umbrella.
So none solved, none reported.
None happening.
Thank you.
Is there any more questions? I'll go last.
There you go.
You go ahead, Ray.
I think one
Do not leave a drama major with a microphone in her hand. I'm here to tell you. 11. Hello?
Yes, you will.
Okay, you can hear.
Hope you don't mind.
So, I just want to say, because Melissa's not here, but I don't think she meant to intend, for anybody to take away that, the CPS is bad, or, to hate law enforcement or anything like that, because she works with them, she works with everybody. And I know her, she's a great friend of mine. And she does, agree, obviously. I mean, how can you, if you care about children, obviously if children need to be taken from the home, she's obviously, right there to say, go ahead, She's a proponent for children, she cares about them, and she's not a, law enforcement hater or anything like that. So I just don't want you to, she didn't say that, I don't think, in there, but I don't want you to go away thinking that at all. We've been around the country, we have been interviewing families all over the place that have been affected by CPS, and also child sexual abuse happening in the homes with foster parents. And a lot of that digging has to go on with us in the courtrooms. Go support the families, go with them. They need people to go with them and help. And thank you. And there's also 2 books, Epidemic by Dr. Lori Handrahan and the Franklin Cover-Up. I printed out some papers for you. If you would like to take one out there on the table when you go home. Heather Middendorf.
Yes, Larry.
If the paper wants to write a good story, this is what happened in Henry County. Heather came forth about a year ago about a little girl that was being sex trafficked in Henry County. And nobody would listen to the daddy. But she did. She came forward. Nobody would listen to her. So we got to the GBI and met her in Locust Grove, Georgia, and the rest of them. And 36 hours later, they had a little girl in their custody. That happened in Henry County. But nobody would listen to the daddy. But Heather did. And that's what started it all. It's to her and Carl what it got started. They decided to do something. Now I'm going to tell you something. I put a sheriff in the federal penitentiary for molesting children in Mitchell County. Many times, people, you don't have a problem because you're the law. But we do have a problem when we go to the law. To the law will listen all the time. You know, y'all need to be more observant to the needs of the people. And when somebody tells you something, listen to them. I'm not saying all the law. I'm just saying, listen. And DFACS, I'm telling you now, DFACS is not the solve the problem. They are the problem. And y'all need to do something about that. And then we'll go from there. I do my part here for this county.
Yes.
But we got some serious problems that we need to address from the top down. It took me 2 years to get a case in court that I want hands down. 2 years. You know, we've got to do something about the top. For the bottom right.
We got to work together is the bottom line. We've got to work together. We are not apart. We are not separate. These people are here working for us because we pay them to work for us. They're employed by the county because we elect the people in the county to employ them. Okay? And if we don't like that situation, then we get somebody else in office. That's the way this works. We're supposed to. But for right now, I'm putting all that aside because right now we need them and we need you. And we need you, Larry. Because it's people like you that have made a lot of this happen. And it's people like you who come to these events that will make the difference in this county. And this is going to go to other counties to show them that people in Henry County care enough to come out and do something. And I want you to all stand proud for doing that. Thank you very much.
And I promise I will not be long. I think Mr. Swenson did recognize, but I'm Sherry Matthews, and I'm the county manager here in Henry County. And rest assured, we take everything serious here. And I first off want to thank our speakers tonight because they could have been anywhere else, but they were here. And I think they are very, very serious about making sure that we educate you all about what's going on. I will tell you, when it was first brought to my attention, I was astonished. I said, not in Henry County. We don't have human trafficking. We don't have pedophiles. We don't have crimes against children. And when I sat down and I talked to Sergeant Rotella, you would be amazed at the amount of knowledge that he already has. You'll be amazed at the amount of knowledge and what he's already doing here in the community. So what I charge you with tonight is to go back and tell your neighbor one thing you learned from the meeting tonight. Take that. That's the first step. But then also educate yourselves about what's going on in the community and be a voice for those that may not have a voice. So again, Carl, thank you. I know you brought it to the attention of myself, our team, and we at first thought, oh my goodness, what's this gonna look like? But obviously there was a lot of good information. And again, we all could have been anywhere else tonight, but we're here. I think, Pastor Reverend, you asked, what can we do? How do we make people knowledgeable about what's going on? Do we take this serious? Well, I'll tell you, you have your county manager, you have a county chairperson, you have a county commissioner, I have my chief of police and my deputy chief of police, so we take it very serious. So again, thank you all for coming out. Carl, thank you, and panel, we are forever grateful for the information that you all have provided tonight. So again, thank you all very much.